So which is faster, hot or cold? Hot, because you can always catch a cold. Yo, what's up guys, it's CoachPlaze and I am back at you today with another Digimon video. We're going to be going over the basic necessities of playing this game, all the basic instructions, and things you need to know to get started in this game. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. You can see them all going down at the bottom of the screen right here. But without further ado, let's get on to the video. Alright guys, like I said before, we are going to be doing a video today on the Digimon card game and how to play Digimon. Alright, so first let's get on to it. So we're looking at the TCG set 1.0 format. Alright, so the first thing we have to look at here is our deck setup. So there are two decks for each player to use during each match. There's your main deck and then there's your Digi-Egg deck. So deck 1 is your main deck, and it is built with about 50 cards. It is typical to have up to 4 copies of the same card. If the cards are the same name but different cards, you may have up to 4 of each or both cards. Now, generally when you see that, for example, there is an Agumon. And Agumon has 2 different art styles. Pretty much if they are completely different types of cards, but with the same name, you are allowed to have 2 sets of those cards. So those 2 different ones are not counted in your set. Deck 2 is your Digitama deck or your Digi-Eggs. This deck is made up of about 4 to 5 cards depending on whichever type of deck you're running. If it is more efficient for you to use 4 or if you need to use 5. Now, this number is not counted in your initial 50 cards. It is important for you to understand that. Now, in the game, there are 4 different types of cards. You have your option cards, tamer cards, Digimon, and your Digitama. The option cards, these cards are very useful, but most of the time they're best utilized if they are in your security pile. They have all kinds of different good effects that each one has. For example, if we're looking at the Trump Sword here, it will delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. But if it's in your security pile and it is activated by being attacked, you get to play this card for free, so you don't have that 7 energy wasted. And play Shadow Wing, which is during my main phase, one of your Digimon gets 3000 DP for the turn. So I'm going to play this for 1 memory. So this card now has 10,000 DP, and I'm going to allow it to swing. Now it's going to swing and attack on mine. And it was a Gabumon with 1000 DP, which means this card gets to stay alive and this card is deleted. No matter what, the card in the security is deleted unless it has an effect that either puts it in your hand or allows you to play it directly onto your field during the turn. Alright, so that's this card. This security card, it says, when this is played, draw 1 card from your deck. Trigger. Draw 1 card from your deck, then add this card to its owner's hand. Tamers are pretty much the same thing. They have great security effects, but also they have wonderful passives, such as this TK. He, at the start of his turn, if you have 2 or less energy, it'll bring you up to 3. And also, and on play, this TK, if you play it, you get to use its effect where you can go through your security pile and take 1 card out of your security. And if it's a yellow card, you get to add 1 card in from your deck back into the security pile. Which, it could be a big help. You could have something very important that's in your security pile, and you want to get it out of there so you can continue on what you're trying to do. Next up, we have the Digimon. These are your main cards that have actions during your turn. You can use these to attack an enemy Digimon or an enemy security cards. Now, it's important to understand that the strategy behind the Digimon that when you are attacking. Generally, your attack points are the DP in the top right corner. Now, these are in this general area. When you are playing Digimon, you want to be able to attack and not have to worry about another opponent's Digimon's ability. Generally, if there is a blocker or if there's something in their security pile that you believe might be higher DP. If something is a higher DP from the security pile, it can kill you. So it's always best to be thinking about what could come next in that pile. But sometimes if you're playing a low cost Digimon and you're attacking, it could be beneficial just to rush straight through and try to get through as many security cards as possible. So I'm going to play my Weregarurumon on top of him, which costs 3 memory to do so. 1, 2, 3 brings me to 2. I'm going to draw this card, and I am going to Omnimon, go to Omnimon. When I Digivolve into an Omnimon, so this costs me 6, so my turn's pretty much over right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, when Digivolving, Omnimon has a special ability where I get to destroy one of my opponent's monsters. Lastly, we have our Digitama, which our Digitama is our card to the right. It is our Digi-Eggs. These cards cannot attack or be attacked. Breeding area. Their main purpose is to evolve your Digimon and get them on the field. Now, a Digi-Egg cannot be put on the field by itself. It has to be evolved in the breeding area and then moved up. It cannot be put in by itself. To start off with, so the first phase you are going to have is our breeding phase. So I'm going to flip over a card, and it is an Upamon. So here, my memory is at 0, so I have to play something that has little to no energy cost. So this card has a 0 on the bottom right here. And that means if I Digivolve into this card, it will cost me 0 memory to play it. And I'm going to Digivolve on top of the Upamon, and then I get to draw a card. And Digivolve to a Gorillamon. Gorillamon has a Digivolve cost of 1 here. So I'm going to Digivolve into him, and I get to draw one more card. And that moves my memory to -1 for me, but +1 for my opponent, which means my turn is now over. Now here is our board setup. It is a security is set up with 5 face down cards from the top of your deck. You do not look at these cards. So at the beginning of our match, we're going to shuffle up our cards, and we're going to take the 5 cards off the top of our deck, and we're going to put them down, generally in a slid motion, off to the side. Digitama are placed in the breeding area, and they are, when you hatch them, they go into the hatched zone. The deck is placed in the deck pile, of course. Deleted Digimon go in the deleted pile face up. Memory is your energy source for your turns, and it is one of the most important things to keep into perspective when you are going through your turn. And the play area is just where the Digimon are raised to, placed on, or Digivolved at. Okay, so this area is just, it doesn't have any like limit to what you can have up here. It's just whatever you have up there, you can have, as long as your memory allows you to have it during that turn you are playing it. Now the first thing I'm doing is I am shuffling the Digi-Egg deck or Digitama deck and putting it into the breeding zone. Next I'll come over here and I will shuffle my actual deck, my main deck, if you will. Gonna get this all nice and shuffled up. I'll never really be a professional blackjack dealer, but every once in a while I like to shuffle these cards. Just throw a little bit of razzle dazzle in there, just really, just throw that bad boy in there. Okay, well, it's all shuffled up. This deck on this side is already shuffled. This is going to be our opponent's playing field, and of course we have to set our memory at 0. Now, the person who goes first, they go first based off of a dice roll. I don't have a dice, so I've been doing a coin flip. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the top 5 cards off of our deck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to place them off to the side as security cards. Now think of these security cards as our life points, if you will. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not looking at them any bit. These are going to be our security. Now, we're going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to play it as I won the toss, and I will be going first. So I'll take a look at my hand. Now, when we start the game, we're going to shuffle our decks and put it in the deck area. Shuffle the Digi-X, and we're going to put those into the breeding zone. We're going to set the 5 cards from the top of our deck and place those face down in the security pile. To decide who goes first, we're going to roll a dice. The winner of the roll always goes first. After the winner has been chosen, the winner was going to draw 5 cards from their deck. They're going to skip their draw phase on this turn, and the memory is set to 0, and the match begins. Now, the person who does not win, they still draw their 5, but when it goes to their turn, they are able to draw that 6th card and able to have their draw phase. So there are 4 phases in a Digimon TCG battle. There is your active phase, draw phase, raise phase, and your main phase. During your active phase, all of the cards that you have recently tapped or put off from its attack position to a sideways area rested, you bring it back to an active state. This is done at the beginning of every turn. This guy gets to restand, and I'm going to raise to my Garurumon. The next up is your draw phase. You are going to draw 1 card during your draw phase, and then that brings you into your raising phase. In your raising phase, you have 3 options on what you can do. You are able to hatch a Digimon. You are able to raise an already hatched Digivolved egg to the main area. Just drew. Now I have the option in the breeding phase either to move this card up into the play area, or I can keep him down here and stay safe with him because he cannot be targeted when he's down in the breeding zone. However, I'm going to move him up because I'm not afraid of no ghost. Or you can skip this phase completely and go on to the main phase. In the main phase, this is where most of your actions will take place. You can choose to play any of these of the 3 other card types besides Digi-Egg. So you have your Tamer option and Digimon. You just can't play it Digi-Egg straight out of there. So you can play any of those types of cards at any point in the match. You are able to play these cards during your turn as long as your memory allows you to do so. Now, our conditions for winning. How do you win this game? You will win this game by if you attack while the opponent has no security cards. So remember, every person starts off with 5 security cards. So they have to go through 5 attacks first, and then that 6th attack is the finishing blow. It is the direct attack that ends the game. The person who gets to that direct attack first wins. Now, also another way to win is if you or your opponent gets to a point where they cannot draw on their draw phase. They're no longer able to draw. They run out of deck. They are going to have to forfeit the game because they have run out of cards. Therefore, they lose. Now, one of the most complicated parts about this, I feel like, to a lot of people who are new to this game, including myself for a while, is the thought of memory. Memory, once more, is our energy source that we use in this game. It is best thought of as negative and positive numbers. If we're looking on the screen, at the beginning of our match, it starts off at 0. Now, when I play a card, all cards have energy costs. Now, if it has 2 energy to play it, when I play it, it will go on to my opponent's number 2, which means my turn is over and it is their time to begin. Now, they start off with 2 energy, but they are able to go all the way to my 10 if they can do it in 1 card. So if they're on 2 and they have something that costs 12 energy to 12 memory to play, they can play that. However, they don't put themselves in a good position for the next round because depending on the deck you're playing, if somebody gives you a lot of memory, you can really come back from that area and pretty much make them pay for whatever they did. So you want to try to energy starve, memory starve somebody as much as you can when it comes to this. So our general goal is to leave the person on their next turn at 1 to 3. And if you have to skip your turn because you can no longer play a card or no longer do anything that does not require too much energy, their turn, you are then giving your opponent up to 3 energy. So if you have something that gives them up to 3, you may as well just play that card that gives them up to 3, because if you skip, you are going to give them 3 for free. So during my turn, I can do any combination of plays as long as I have the memory to do so. And my turn is ended when my opponent has 1 or more memory to work with. I'm going to play Kokaida's Breath. So I'm going to return one of my opponent's Digimon to its owner's hand and trash all the Digi-Evolution cards of that Digimon. That is what that card does. It is a pretty good card, kind of overpowered, but it costs 7 memory to do so. So this goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts him at 6. But Metal Greymon returns to his hand, and all of these are then discarded. But also, that ends my turn, and then this person on this side gets to go again. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. For me, it was fun to make. This game, like I said, it's really been not necessarily like I don't want to say time sink. It's not a time sink because it's fun, and things you enjoy are never a time sink. So this game has really it's given me stuff to do, other than the plethora of stuff I have to do on World of Warcraft already. I'm having fun with my friends playing it, and soon enough we'll be able to get some videos together with them. But for the time being, if you would like more Digimon content, please go ahead and subscribe to my boy Ragin XXX Cajun on YouTube. He has a lot of resources up there already, plenty of deck builds, and go ahead and give him a subscription and like his videos. But until next time, guys, this is CoachPlaze, and here's Freya, and we're out. Peace.